Welcome to the Trying to Be Better podcast with Joel and Steve.
Hey there, buddy.
Are you doing the weasel?
I just did the wheeze.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy.
I was not ready for that. Wheezing the juice. Wheeze.
That's all I've got.
I understand. To look at a longer view, there's a lot of I've seen some things on the socials of people taking shots at the younger generation and the weird shit they say.
Yeah.
Can we all take a deep breath and just
appreciate Pauly Shore?
And how he didn't make a fucking lick of sense, but he was great.
Yeah.
And
not to ruin your flow, but you got to turn your gain down a little bit.
Oh man,
it's a little hot.
Is that better?
Yes.
The space is getting hot.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's way better. But yeah, and I didn't like Pauly Shore back in the day.
But you can appreciate him now.
Yeah, totally. Just because I was older, than that,
right.
His target demographic.
Right.
And I was that guy's a fucking moron. And it turns out he's totally not.
He was, I know.
Having just said that, I was like, he was he was actually smarter than I was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
kind of like Sean Penn and Spicoli. He kind of, the character became this alter ego for this guy, and he permeated pop culture in the early to mid 90s, everywhere.
Dick.
Everywhere.
Who ordered the double cheese and sausage? Right here, dude.
Welcome to the podcast, everybody. My name is Joel.
I'm Steve.
And this is the Trying to Be Better podcast with Joel and Steve.
Woo!
Woo!
I'm punchy as hell.
Why?
Oh, I was out late. I took our friend and past guest Terry Warwick and I went to Slow Down and saw some music in Omaha.
How was that?
Fucking great.
Yeah?
Yep. I'm embarrassed that I can't remember the opening band's name.
You should
We're
be.
fine. I am. Yeah. And then Daniel and the Deliverance, who I'd never seen but had heard good things about. They're a bluegrass outfit. The bass player is playing an electric Hofner bass like Paul McCartney.
Oh yeah.
So that immediately makes it not exactly bluegrass.
Sure.
New grass.
Okay.
But they were legit, and really they played some really cool covers, and the original songs were solid. And they ended the show with, he said, the singer Daniel said, "Okay, we're gonna finish off tonight's show with a song from bluegrass legend Elton John." And they did a cover. They played a cover of Benny and the Jets.
Nice.
Which then segued seamlessly into the Flashdance song Maniac.
Wow.
Yeah, it was great.
I'm here for all of that.
That's what I'm saying. Total left field. Whoa! Did not see that coming.
I like that.
It was great. They're really good. They can pick,
Right.
And then Secret Formula closed the show, and they're amazing.
What's their deal? What's their deal?
Well, they're a power trio with an auxiliary percussionist.
Mm-hmm.
But their drummer, and I can't remember the two guitar players' names right now. The actual guitar player's name is Luke, and I can't remember the bass player's name. But they're both very good. And Danny DeBurgeros, I hope I'm saying his name right, who's the best drummer within 500 miles.
Oh, okay.
He's just a phenom and just full of joy when he plays, and he's kind of like a musical equivalent of Jerry Garcia in that level.
Oh, okay.
He's way more technically proficient than Garcia was.
Right.
But just when the groove's right and he's digging in, and it's not just like the drummer for the opening band was a solid, competent indie rock drummer.
Yeah. Right.
Very stable, nice little tasteful fills and all that.
Kept
Danny's
the heartbeat going.
Yeah, Danny's a machine.
Hmm.
His drumming it's eloquent, I guess.
Oh,
Like
okay.
tons of little fills and just
Mm.
very dynamic. And where most guys are pulling off like quarter eight no fills, Danny's doing 30-second notes
Wow.
all
Yeah.
over the kit.
Yeah.
And he's heavily influenced by John Bonham.
Okay.
And so there's a lot of it's not it's it would be Bonham would be a heavy dose of bombast.
Mm-hmm.
And Danny is capable of that kind of energy and thump, right?
Yeah.
Like he can
Yeah.
absolutely do that, but that's just one tool in his kit.
Hmm.
Polyrhythms, the whole thing, like he's all over it.
Wow.
And he makes it look easy. And then
Man.
what's really cool to watch him play is you can tell when he knows the groove is right
Yeah.
because you can just see it on his face. Like he absolutely like he just gets inside of it
Mm.
and is part riding it and part controlling it. And then when it's time to get going, he digs in. You
Mm.
can see it on his face, the focus and just the we're gonna give it to him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, dude.
And I love all of that.
Drumming drummers amazing. I can't the ambidextrosity. I don't know if that's the word I'm looking for.
Right.
But the ability to make
it's more than ambi, it's quad.
yeah, it's your feet and hands and all of it, and also like and then on top of that to not just do the job but to bring color and scope to it all.
Yeah, and that's
is
what
a
and
whole
Danny
other
does
deal.
that. He's not just like filling the beats or whatever. Like he's
Yeah.
very much an active part of the thing, right?
Yeah.
And
That's
that's
awesome.
why they're so good because they're pretty heavily, or at least Luke is pretty heavily Fish influenced, Trey Anastasio, which is
Mhm.
great, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And but they're play mostly all original songs, and they're great. Little weird, you know.
What's their
But
name
fun.
again?
Secret Formula.
And they're from Omaha?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're going to be playing a double bill out in Kearney, actually, with the Midland Band
Okay.
on November 15th. I would love to go out there for that, but I don't think I can because of their obligations.
What day of the week is it?
Saturday.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, that would
Okay.
be actually really, I mean, that's a great double bill because Midland Band is awesome too.
Yeah,
So anyway, that's what we're doing.
you've sung the praises of the Midland Band so much that I need to, and I've listened to them.
I mean, this is not a hit, but they're a little proggy for me at times.
Okay.
But that's not all they do. Like they can also lay it down, right?
Sure.
Like they're
Sure.
danceable and
Right.
I mean, and Tom Edelman, their guitarist, is he's just a super great dude. And so yeah.
Nice.
So that's what I was doing.
Nice.
Mhm.
Well, so you've got you spent some energy.
Yeah.
And now you're punchy.
I'm a little punchy, yeah. I
Yeah.
don't, being out till the wee hours of the morn isn't my bag anymore necessarily.
Well, my stepdad used to say you can't hoot with the owls all night if you want to fly with the eagles in the morning, Steve.
God, that hurts. It's like that's so true. It hurts.
It's true. It's true. I'm feeling
What if you want to roll around with the gutter rats?
that is a whole different result. That is a whole. You have to I see a vision of Funke in the shower crying that you have to wash the filth off the next day,
Right.
and wallow in your shame.
Right.
That's the result of that.
In your jean shorts.
Definitely in your jorts for sure.
Anyway, I interrupted. What were you going to say?
I don't know. I think I was going to say I'm feeling
How are you doing? How are you?
Well, Simone, let's talk about your big butt. That's a quote
man.
I used to do all the time from Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and I just remembered it. I need to bring that back. Let's talk about your big butt.
That's such a great one.
I'm feeling grounded. I'm feeling
Whoa!
I'm feeling equanimous. I'm feeling
That's
like
amazing.
yes. I'm feeling like, okay, so I'm feeling I think I maybe mentioned this a couple weeks ago. My therapist fired me.
Oh yeah. He's going on to
And
bigger and better things.
yeah, he can't slum it with his crazy clients anymore. He's got big cool things to do.
Right.
So
He abandoned you.
he did. And he did. And we talked about how, like, maybe I go untethered from therapy for a little while and see how it goes.
Right.
And I wouldn't take that recommendation unless he meant it. You know what I mean? I wouldn't just I mean, if he was like, I think you should continue, I would find someone else. But he's like, try it out. So I'm like, okay. He's like, basically, you have tools. Use those tools. Dig into those tools. So I realized when I'm like, okay, am I using my tools? And so I've been trying to get back to. I've let myself not have any consistent practice for a little while. It's been wonky.
Yeah. Same,
And
actually.
I'm trying to not let that wonkiness continue. I'm trying to come back to consistency. So
Come back to consistency.
yeah,
There's our tag.
there it is. Because I think that it's so easy for me to think about the things and pretend that I did them. Do you know what I mean?
No, I have no
Like,
idea what that's like.
I thought about it, and I like suggested some wise thing to a student, and therefore I did it. And then I look at my record. I'm like, you spent 20 minutes in the morning slamming coffee and scrolling Instagram. You didn't actually. You know what I mean?
That's not a practice.
Oh, it's a practice, and it has results, and those results are
Horrible.
horrible. Yeah, horrible. Like my nervous system feels like a frayed live wire.
Yes.
So
Absolutely relate to that.
yeah.
It's not
So
great.
I'm trying to get back to that. So I'm working in some practice and some reading. I listened to Youngie Mingyur Rinpoche's book. Oh boy. It's the second book by him I've read, but I can't remember the title, and it's something about oh no. Wasn't even ready to talk about this. The Joy of Living. Unlocking the Secret and Science of Happiness by Youngie Mingyur Rinpoche.
Gross.
Yeah. Youngie Mingyur Rinpoche is a Tibetan monk. Rinpoche, he's a well-respected Tibetan practitioner monk. But I read his book In Love with the World based on the recommendation from my brother Colin. And that book talks about how, he's a very well-kept, considered, protected monk. And he, one night, with the only other person in his life that knew he was going to do this was one of his attendants. And he snuck out, and he went on a walking retreat for 4 years. And just like lived as a beggar. He had some money, and he used that until he ran out, and then he begged on the streets and practiced and tried to have the whole letting go of all of the protection stuff like the Buddha had.
Yeah.
But he part of that process is like you have to eventually, when you run out of dough, you got to beg for food. And so he was begging for food, and it's kind of he was also kind of getting scraps from this local restaurant, and he got a really bad stomach bug, and it almost killed him. But he wrote about his near-death experience and how some person saved him, and how he wrote very eerily, specifically about how he went through the process of dying and coming back and all of that, and still stayed on retreat for a couple years after that incident. And he's just like, he's the real deal. So anyway, I read that book, and it kind of was like the paddles they have in the ER. Like, it just sort of jolted me back into some shit, So, I read his other. What I mean is, I read the Joy of Living book or whatever, and it was really good. So, I am enlightened, and I'm here to pontificate about all my wisdom to you, Steve.
Well, I too am enlightened, and wise because I've been listening to R. Crumb, A Cartoonist's Life.
Oh, oh, wow. Yeah.
It's amazing.
There's some wisdom.
Well, it's a great book because I mean it's obviously his biography on Robert Crumb, but it's also kind of what's the word? A trip through history,
Yeah.
Starting in like the 1920s in America, just extreme familial dysfunction
Mm-hmm.
and how he single-mindedly toiled through trying to be a cartoonist.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's the thing about him is I don't think he was actually really trying to quote be a cartoonist. He wanted to make cartoons.
Help me out there. What's the difference?
Well, he didn't like he just really it's like one of those things. It's kind of like Jerry Garcia and music in the early days. Like he was willing to live in a car and eat army rations to just play music.
Okay.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? He lived
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
an
Yeah.
abandoned Mercury, you know,
Right.
and just and ate whatever, hand to mouth existence so that he didn't have to get a straight job and could just play
Yeah.
music. Like
Yeah.
so Robert's kind of the same way in that single focus, right?
Yeah.
And then his not exactly meteoric rise to underground fame and then some mainstream, it's like everything if something's popular it will eventually get co-opted,
Yeah. So
or
did
if it's
he,
hip it will eventually get co-opted.
how did he kind of start making his name for himself? Was it political
Oh, it's
cartoons? What was it? It was like
he
underground, sort of weird. That's
well
kind of what I know about Crumb is
he
that,
for a while he was making a living drawing American greeting cards,
oh, okay.
like a kind of commercial, but he was of course miserable.
Right.
And then LSD entered the picture
Ah,
in a pretty substantial way, and that's where some of his later drawings, the vibe comes from. And like Mr. Natural and all that. Mitch, he's the guy with the beard and the trucking foot,
yeah, yeah, yeah. So,
Mr. Natural. So like there was a before LSD and an after LSD.
well, I was listening to one of the last Mark Maron podcasts where he talked to Matt Groening from the
Yeah, uh-huh.
Simpsons fame, and
Yep.
Matt Groening obviously talked about Crumb and
Yep.
and uh, and I think it was Maron talked about how like when you have an understanding of that particular style and you start, it's a compassionate view to
Hmm.
see people as Crumb would see people.
It's
That
also horribly like perverted
it's perverted and
and
grotesque, but
yeah,
it's
yeah,
also
exactly.
it's also honest. It's not trying to like
100%. Yes.
right, like it's not, you're not looking at people through a lens of beautification. You're looking at people through a lens of
Humanity.
their humanity and their imperfections and their
Yep.
sexuality that
Hmm.
is not, the standard.
Hmm.
And so it's I never thought of that because I've seen Crumb's work and some of it is kind of cute and funny and some of it is definitely
Not.
not.
Uh-huh.
But
Uh-huh.
but it was an interesting take on looking at the world through the lens of Crumb, and how he sees people is a great way to see people.
So one of the other things the book like talked about, there was a great comic scare in the 50s
Hmm.
where all these rules came down and like because they had things like violence and
Right,
they were going to rot the kids' brain. So it was just censorship in America.
right, and
We
then
have
it's
to
kind of
stop
coincide
this.
with like McCarthyism. I think
100%.
probably.
It was that
Yeah,
same
yeah,
kind of scare, or later in the 80s, the satanic panic and all that garbage.
yep.
So that was interesting. Just again, like learn. That's the thing that's been great about the book is I'm learning more about my country,
Mm,
and everything that's new is old and old is new. It's like it just
yeah,
cycles through.
yeah,
But the other takeaway from it is that, like, Garcia and Crumb, it's like the theme seems to be, and there are others that I can't remember right now, but if you truly like, there are artists that make art because it's fun, like me,
yeah,
and then
right,
there are people that are absolutely driven. They have to do this thing,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And whether that's through, actual joy of the art or just self-obsession,
yeah, right,
who knows, and doesn't really matter. But like those artists are the ones that seem to last across generations.
Yeah. That's
Like they're
that's
they're so focused that they put so much energy into it that it doesn't dissipate in a week or a month or the next news cycle or the next pop song or whatever,
yep.
And it's not for
That's
everybody,
It's not for, yeah, that's the thing. And you bring that up, and I'm referencing a conversation we had before we started recording. Was I read, and this is another example that I think there's a connection there with Crumb as an artist, or Garcia as an artist. Definitely not to the level of fame that Garcia had, but I read the recent memoir of one of my personal favorite artists from the late 80s, early 90s. Evan Dando wrote a memoir called Rumors of My Demise.
Yeah,
And in the early 90s, I mean, Lemonheads were kind of pumped into my brain because of MTV,
sure.
but they had already had like 2 or 3 records before they got signed to a major label. They were like a weird punk outfit.
Yeah,
But he wrote that, and he is one of those misanthropic, addict, alcoholic, gets clean to just clear his head and then goes back to it. And,
wow.
but his whole thing is like, he just wants to write these songs and make music. He doesn't care. Like, he doesn't care about, he enjoyed the fame,
Sure.
but that's not the point.
Right.
Like, he talks about how he just is kind of a barefooted bum on fucking Martha's Vineyard. And, like I'll make but he cleaned up to make another record. It's really interesting. If you don't care about the Lemonheads, you may not care about this book. It's not one of those where it's like, it's interesting no matter what. Like, if
Right.
it's not anything to write. It's not Hunter S. Thompson. It's not entertaining in and of itself,
Right.
but his stories, I think, are really interesting. And I kind of thought that there would be this rise to his, and then I got clean, I kicked all the drugs, and I made this new album, because they just put
Right.
out another album. And the Lemonheads are essentially Evan Dando. They're not, it's a collective of rotating musicians besides him.
Sure.
But I thought it would be this rise to, I got clean and everything's great and I made this new record. And the epilogue, he's like, this is not a redemption story. He's like, I'm not
Right.
clean, and so I'm not clean at all. Like,
Right.
I gave up heroin because it's really hard to stay alive and do heroin forever, but I still do other shit,
Right.
But anyway, it was just like, I could not have handled that story as a 16-year-old Lemonheads fan. I would have judged the fuck out of it all.
Mhm.
But as a 45-year-old fan, I'm like, man, I'm glad he's still alive, and he's making this new record that's coming out in a couple of weeks. I've heard a few tracks. It's fucking awesome. But yeah, anyway, he's that guy that will,
Be a barefooted bum.
be a barefooted bum and still find a way to make a record and do it because that's all he has, like,
Right.
it's just an interesting deal.
That's kind of the way, like Crumb's career, definitely, especially before, getting published in, bigger magazines and whatnot, like very much like periods of being hungry and,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just think that's all fascinating because honestly, I just don't have that kind of metal.
I don't need that. Yeah.
No.
No.
It's like I like my creature comforts.
I do too. And I think that's an interesting point, though. It's a really vulnerable point because
Uh-huh.
I can count on, there's a couple of times where I lived in Los Angeles and I could have made some decisions that were like, all right, are you willing to be that barefooted bum for this?
Mm-hmm.
And I really blame I blame rooms of recovery that are like, that's really not gonna work well for you. Like, that's really not, like,
Well,
you're gonna,
tell me they're not right.
they're totally right.
Because
But like,
you want to be on the other side of the midnight mission.
right.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And even if, yeah, I can't let the desperation get to a point. I couldn't handle the rejection and resentment
Sure.
and stay
I mean, that's Bukowski territory.
totally.
Like he absolutely bring on the resentment. It's just fuel for the fire, baby.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And I will could see the writing on the wall. That's like, I can't,
Like, are you that hard?
I'm not that hard.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Fully admit.
Yeah, me either.
I mean,
Like
and
to live that life on the streets of LA and just
yep,
like keep writing and
yep,
drinking and fighting and writing and drinking and fighting and you know.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. That no matter what, I'm willing to stake it all on this.
Uh-huh.
I don't think that's my karmic curriculum in this particular life. I
No.
just don't. And it's like, the undercurrent of all that is like, hey, dude, you got to put sobriety above everything else. And there's something about you having simply being willing to pay your bills on time and have a place to shower
Right. Yeah, yeah.
that keeps you from ruining your
Going off the
life.
rails. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yes. So you need to
I
maintain
mean, there's a
that.
version of me that is like a parallel me that's like worshiping crystals in the woods, you know,
Yes. Yes.
walking around muttering, Saint Stephen, I'm Saint Stephen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
There's a version of me that is, got chewed up and spit out by the audition process. And
Mhm.
here's the thing, like,
And
I guess the roll of the dice is that maybe I would have won an Oscar by now, but
right.
that's not a risk I was willing to
Well,
take.
the odds of that aren't great.
They're really
If you're
bad.
looking at it just from a strictly mathematical perspective, it's like the
Yeah.
Running Man.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's an interesting point too, because I had a okay. So sometimes when I take attendance, it is mostly just to vamp. When I take attendance for my classes, because I'm that annoying professor that takes attendance at the top of every class. Sometimes
Yeah,
I have,
great.
what's your favorite chocolate? What's your favorite horror movie? Whatever.
Hmm.
And sometimes when we don't really need to push the syllabus that hard that day, I will say things like, "Ask me anything." You
Mhm.
know,
Right, yeah.
this is your opportunity as a student and a professor.
Right.
What do you want to know about me? What do you want to complain about the school? What do you want to do?
Sure. Yeah, let it rip.
Here's your point. And somebody like hit me out of left field with, so why teaching?
Oh,
I
wow.
was like, and I was able to answer like, I'm not one of those people that feels like I need to apologize because of my chosen, like I chose this. I
Right.
conscious,
You absolutely did. I
yeah,
remember that process.
this is what I wanted to do,
Hmm.
and I am here doing what I want to do.
Hmm.
And I sometimes in grad school felt like I had to like kind of hide that because
Oh,
everybody
sure.
else wanted to be the next big thing, and I was like, I
Right.
kind of just want to get this so I can teach and
Yeah.
continue to be an artist, but also feed myself and my wife
Yeah,
and
and you've
all of.
accomplished that.
Yeah, totally have.
Hmm.
And so it was, yeah, it's just like I look back and I see a couple forks in the road where it's like, yeah, you could have done that, but I don't regret not doing that because I
Hmm.
know that that could have cost me everything, and
Right.
I did not want to do that. So,
Well, hindsight's 2020.
right. Yeah.
It's
But
a
there was
lot
like,
easier from 20 years on to say, yeah, that wouldn't have been the best decision.
but I
But
kind of knew it
maybe it
at
would have.
I kind of knew it at the time because I'd been
Sure.
around and I was like, I can't. Well,
You were kind of in the belly of the beast.
right, and I was like, I was already married. Kirsten and I were already married when I
Right.
graduated, and there
Mhm.
was an opportunity to come back here, and that didn't pan out. But it was also like put me on the road towards what I'm doing now.
Yep.
And I remember thinking, and I probably talked to you and
Hmm.
other guidance people in my life in recovery, and I was like, I can't really, when I look at, do I want to schlep around and audition and put Kirsten through so that Kirsten works full time and more for me to
Right.
chase this thing down all the way down
Right.
the river? Do I want to do that?
Well, I can just see, 25-year-old Joe coming home from yet another audition that didn't yield anything
Yeah.
and having such great interactions with his wife who's been working some job all day.
Oh yeah.
Why don't you feel sorry for me?
Yeah.
I'm the one that's failing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's
And
not.
the day comes when Kirsten looks at us, she says, "You sure are."
God. Yeah, there's some truth there, man.
Uh-huh.
There's
Uh-huh.
some real truth there. So, but my hat's off to Crumb and Evan Dando and people that put it all on the line.
Right.
The 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 tortured artist.
Right.
I mean, because I think that's like again to reference young Mingyur Rinpoche, the idea of walking away from it all and putting it all out there.
Mm-hmm.
you've gotta have an understanding that that's a spiritual journey in and of itself. You
Right.
can't, the results, you have to let go of results. Otherwise you will end up being completely fucking miserable.
And like this is not the same thing as Mr. Rinpoche, but that there was an element of that on, Dead Tour.
Yeah.
I mean, there
Yeah.
were definitely a lot of Trustafarians and, just
Right.
really upper middle class white kids that just went on vacation. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right. 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 And put on the costume of being
100%. But
yeah.
I met many people that like packed a knapsack and walked away.
Yeah.
And they knew that, I mean, the Dead Tour was a tool.
Yeah.
It was a way to get from place to place and see things and meet people
Yeah.
on basically no money,
Yeah.
you know. And I met this kid. I can't remember what year it was. Doesn't matter. But I met him like at the beginning of his journey. Like he's, yep, I'm just walking,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And he literally had like a makeshift like backpack thing, right? And
Was it on a stick? Was it a
no, it
handkerchief?
wasn't on a stick.
Okay.
In my mind it is, but I know
You're
it
right.
wasn't.
Right.
Um, but then I would see him like every 6 months around the country.
Oh wow.
How's it going, man? He's like, great.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's been, there's some tough times, but he said, met a lot of really great girls.
Well, I think that that's interesting because I think that the or the outside conversation is how horrible, like how destitute that is, or how
Well,
there's
of
a
course,
judgment.
that's because
There's a judgment there.
it scares the shit out of people that have day jobs.
Right. It's the judgment of it is
Hmm.
kind of the surface level conversation, but
Yep.
I'd love to hear more honest stories of actual like
Tour heads.
tour heads, enlightenment, truth,
Yep.
and the misadventures of America.
100%. I
You
mean, and
know?
that's kind of well, Garcia said, we're like we're the last true adventure in America.
Yeah.
It's like running away with us is like running away to join the circus.
And I don't think that you can't do that anymore.
Well, there's, fish and there's actually more opportunities than ever, actually.
You think
They're just,
really?
they're just smaller.
That's the thing though. It's like the power of the massive horde of
Oh, yeah,
deadheads
yeah.
rolling through
Yeah,
all the
America.
time.
Yeah, all the time.
All
Like
the time.
clockwork. Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's not a thing.
No, it's not. But we've had this conversation before, especially with our friend and past guest Jack, that you could still do tour. It's just like there's a lot more opportunities to rest for a minute and dance a little bit.
Yeah.
It's just
Huh.
smaller.
Yeah.
They're in theaters. I mean, shit, the Dead weren't a horde until the late '80s.
Hmm.
Know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was
Right.
small. They played. I mean, they occasionally did the mega gigs to pay the bills, basically, and
Hmm.
then they played little theaters.
Yeah, that's interesting because
Mhm.
I kind of think that
Like the horde thing was considered a bad thing by people that had been on the road for a decade or more
I guess that's
because
true.
it brought nothing but problems. You
Right.
know?
Right. But that's my frame of reference for the ability to just go on tour and
Sure.
disappear.
Oh yeah.
Because
Well, that's a
you know what
thing
I
too.
mean?
Hmm.
Because if it slows down, if it's a little more, if there's more respite from the tour, then you've got to figure something out for a little while before the next
Right.
one starts up.
But I mean,
That opportunity to just go and be gone and do it all the time and like
hmm
hop on the Jerry Garcia band tour while you know what I mean. That doesn't you can't do. I mean, you could do that. I don't know. It's just interesting.
Well,
I mean,
it's more spread out.
hmm,
It's like a mesh network,
yeah.
instead of having this hub with spokes coming off of it, and those spokes being fish, widespread panic,
Hmm.
and something else.
Right. Right.
Now it's a mesh of lots of smaller bands like Dogs in a Pile and Spafford and Yonder Mountain
Hmm.
String Band and
Hmm.
Billy Strings, and I
Hmm.
mean the Wooks have gone to Billy Strings.
That's where the real action is.
I mean, if you that's what you're looking for, yeah.
Yeah.
So like the music never stopped, man.
That's good to know.
Hmm. Oh yeah, the music's in good hands.
It's still not something I can do. I think
No,
about it.
that's I never did full tour. Oh,
Yeah.
I think about it too. But then again, it's like the romantic version of living in your car selling grilled cheese or whatever. It's like, I'm too old
But
for
like I want to go on tour
I'm not 19.
but have a total like $90,000 Sprinter van.
Well, yeah, that's why
You know what I mean?
first you make the money,
Then you get the power.
then you get the power, then you get the $150,000 Sprinter van with four-wheel drive and a dually rear axle and
Yes.
solar and
Yeah, and satellite internet that I can
yeah, the
have
whole
some sort
thing.
of I can make money doing a podcast and streaming
You
and
know, speaking of you ingrates, reach out to your connections and make us famous.
yeah, would you? I think that I'll be bold enough to say it. I think that Steve and I have been doing this long enough that we've found a groove. It really is, and we do need to take a minute to thank Mr. Mark Maron if you
Yeah, for real.
because the way he framed, and I know you haven't listened to it yet, so I will not
Yeah,
get too in the weeds with this, but the way he framed the end of his podcast, not the one with
Barack Obama.
President Barack Obama, but the one where it was just him,
Mm-hmm.
it was super powerful,
Okay.
and it validated what we
It
do.
wasn't
Not
just him bitching about his cats and
no,
Charlie's health problems for
nope,
40 minutes.
no. I mean,
Okay, great.
he covers that, but I think
Yeah.
that he talks about he kind of locked. You know how he always talked about locking in with his guest, and
Yeah,
really
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
he locked in with himself
Oh,
for
okay.
that 45
Isn't that like
minutes.
his entire life?
Yeah, but it's not indulgent. It's not
Oh,
self
okay. Okay. All right.
it's really not him pacing around being anxious. It's like him explaining the heartbeat of the thing from beginning to end.
Oh, well, that's okay. Yeah, I'm here for it. And
I
I'll
was
probably
emo-
listen to it this afternoon.
I was emotionally moved. And so
Mm-hmm.
anyway, it goes to say that like we would not have we owe a debt of gratitude to Mark Maron, and also I think we do pretty good. I think that
Mhm.
this is a good
I can
we
already hear the major whatever podcast producer saying, "We love you guys. We're very much looking forward to working with you. We just need to kind of dial back some of the references a little bit to achieve more mainstream
yeah.
acceptance."
Yeah.
I can already hear it.
Can
Which
you guys can you guys be a little more, I don't know, inflammatory and argumentative? And can you guys say things that are really, really that we can chop up into a
sound bites,
Instagram
baby.
sound bites and Instagram reels
Hmm.
to get reactions out of people?
No, I don't think so.
No.
Well, I guess we'll just remain, in our hovels.
Well, it gives credence to the name of the podcast. Like that we thought of like it would be trying to be better, like we were trying to better ourselves, but we're trying to be above. I mean, we say inflammatory shit, right? We talk about
Yes,
our opinions, but we're not trying to garner a following and trying to, you know
based
what I
off of
mean?
that.
No,
No.
no, and not that we're super popular by any stretch of the imagination, but there's a lot of
Hey,
podcasts
we
out
have
there that
dozens of listeners.
yeah, but there's a lot of podcasts out there that are like trying to get people's nervous system engaged to be pissed off at somebody
Yeah,
else
yeah, yeah,
or
yeah.
them. Like that
Right.
whole
I
exchange.
have no interest in really being a lightning rod. Speaking of lightning rods,
Yes.
last Sunday I went and heard a stump speech from a guy named Eric Moyer, who you
Oh,
also know.
Eric. Yes.
And Eric is running against Mike Flood in whatever the next election is. That's how civically astute I am. I think it's in a year and a half or in a year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's this November. It's in a year.
Yeah, it's like it's midterm situation, right?
Sure.
Sure.
Anyway, Eric's like he's on the path that I can support.
Yep.
And
I
I
agree.
mean, I sat and talked with him for 20 minutes before his speech, and he had a little Q&A, and
Mm-hmm.
I asked him a couple questions that were relevant and important to me that I actually know something about, and
Mm-hmm.
he gave thoughtful answers with actual. It wasn't just, I'm so glad you asked that question. I just can't wait to, serve my constituents in that
Yeah.
regard to you. And I hold that near and dear. He gave actual answers
Oh yeah.
with
Yeah.
things like facts and
Mm-hmm.
science, and
Mm-hmm.
like he knew what he was talking about,
Mm-hmm.
and spoke extemporaneously and um like with conviction, I guess. Which, like Carson once said, the key to this business is sincerity. Once you can fake that, you've got it made. Um,
Well, I've known Eric for a while,
yeah,
and I've actually worked with Eric directly on. I mean, he's an actor; he's a
yeah,
great
yeah,
actor, and I worked with him directly on a process on a play that it was a really awesome play, and it was a professionally done, well run, and we were all getting paid, right? So it's like
yeah,
like we were in this,
right,
and he's a delightful person to be around,
yeah,
right? So the
yeah,
fact that the politician stuff, it surprised me. It didn't shock me. It surprised me, like,
right,
oh, Eric, all right.
yeah,
But as far as a human being that works hard and works on stuff and is
yep.
fun, I mean, if another actor can say he's a great actor to work with, that's a
It's a
great thing
testament,
on a lot of levels,
right,
because you know your shit, you're working hard, you're trying to bring something creative to this collaborative process, and you're not a shitbag to be around.
right,
Like you're not,
yeah,
it's not ego driven, like you're generous. You're generous creatively as an actor in a scene, but you're also
hmm.
generous like walking into the rehearsal room. Hey, how are you? Good to
Hi,
see
hey
you.
everybody, how's it going?
Yes. Like there's that's a that's a good indicator of somebody's overall
Character.
character.
Yeah,
Yes. Not pun intended too.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like it is kind of so I can vouch for Eric in that regard. That maybe we should see if he'd be willing to talk to us. We
yeah.
should
That's
do
a good
that.
idea.
You
Yeah, I
know?
mean, if we don't want to besmirch his reputation.
Yeah, I
That
can't
might
really
not might yeah, you guys. It's
I
just not
can't
gonna be good.
really
It's not gonna be good for the polling.
yeah, I don't think. I went back through your transcripts, and
Yeah,
you guys are extremist weirdos, and
more weirdo than extremists, but
that's true.
yeah.
I don't know.
But anyway, I'm getting better at this as time goes on, but I am usually a little recalcitrant in terms of going up to the star of the show and saying, "Hey, my name's Steve. How's it going?"
Yeah, right.
But I did that, and he was like, "Oh, hey, yeah, thanks for coming."
Mm-hmm.
I said, "I think we have a friend in common, Joel Egger." He's like, "Oh yeah, Joel," and then we just
Yeah.
sat and talked about bullshitted basically for about
Mm-hmm.
20 minutes, and then he had to go do his thing,
Right.
and it was just all together. Well, so when I referenced lightning rod, the thing that
Yes.
I really liked about what he said is one of the things that he kind of finished things off with is I don't want. God, how do you say it now? Basically, what he was saying is I want to be the lightning rod for all of these issues,
Oh.
all of these things that are, just fucked basically.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be the lightning rod for your frustrations, for your fear,
Mm.
for like I want to take that on and try
Mm.
to help fix that.
Wow.
And I thought that's pretty cool. Like
Yeah.
I want to be a person, not the person, but a person that is, that you can basically count on,
That
or
you
to
can.
at least, not that I'm gonna fix everything like some people say, but like I will be working. And I mean, I realize probably every politician ever has said something to this effect, but like I want to work for you.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yep.
And I will,
I think that's something that's obviously lost from the top down in partisan politics right now, or in populism,
yeah, which is
right?
garbage.
Right, but there's something about if I toe the line of dear leader, then I will by default get these people's votes because I am
Right.
connected to this populist movement.
Yeah.
Versus I'm a
Which is not actually a populist movement.
No, but I also think that there's something interesting too, and there's something that I think Dan Osborne is doing right now.
Yep.
As much as I think that being an independent is a fucking cop out at this point, I think we should have a parliamentary system and blah 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 in this country. I think we should have many parties, whatever. But
Yeah.
so I have my
Good
issues
luck with that.
I know, but I have my issues with calling yourself an independent at this point. Either way, I do think Dan Osborne is somebody who's saying, hey, I can say this about this, but I can also say this about this. And like, I can talk to farmers and say, hey, you guys are getting railed right now. You know, so like,
That's the understatement of the century.
right. But I think that Eric is smart to do it that way, to say, hey, I'm going to try to get back to, I am a dude doing a thing. And yes, I'm affiliated with a party and I'm running against that other party.
Yes.
But I'm not just going to say, because at a Nebraska congressperson's level, just kicking in the door and saying a bunch of national politics stuff is not going to work here. Like, you've got to actually say things about things that we give a fuck about. You know what I mean?
Well, it's worked for our current representation.
I know. Exactly. And that's the problem in my mind.
Yeah,
is that,
agreed.
like, how does this shit, like Dan Osborne talking about how the tariff circus is directly affecting Nebraska farmers is important.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
instead of seeing a bunch of
of Obama was a racist.
Yeah.
They're coming for your stuff.
Right. Or somebody like fucking Ted Cruz just positioning himself
he's absolutely craven.
His tongue has got to be rough from all the bootlicking.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's just,
did you see that?
Do you give a fuck about
that George Santos got pardoned? His entire existence was a total sham.
And there's a reason why that kind of person gets pardoned.
Enlighten me.
Because the person that pardoned them is a total fucking sham too.
Yeah, right.
So if this guy, I can't let this guy go down for being a complete fraud. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, and it's also, I think it's a delightful message to everybody in his circle that you can do
anything
as long as you stay
loyal.
As long as you're loyal and don't deviate.
But if you look at the timeline from like 2015 on, almost everyone that was associated with that guy gets fucked in the end.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of, we need to talk about. I know you gotta go, but we need to talk about the party downtown yesterday.
Oh yeah, were you down there?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Dude, it was so big. There were so many people. There was people I didn't even. Like, I figured the last few, you pretty much can run into somebody.
Yeah. This one was much larger.
This was,
and I didn't take my phone down yesterday.
So, nice, right on.
I rode my bike down.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was thinking, my mom needs to see this.
Did you take her?
I rode my bike home, got her in the car, and we drove down and just basically drove down K Street.
Right.
Just so she could see all the people, you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was her reaction to that?
She was having a blast. She thought it was great. Yeah.
Oh, good.
She was waving at people.
Nice.
It was really great. Yeah.
It was there was something about the rhetoric leading up to this one where in the 72 hours before the No Kings thing on Saturday, October 18th, there was a lot of rhetoric from the right basically saying these are all people in Hamas. These are people who are criminals. These are terrorists.
It's actually senior citizens and people in dinosaur costumes.
Yeah, and also the rhetoric of these folks are there's no young people present is total bullshit.
Right. Yeah,
it was a wide range of age.
I saw 3 to pushing 90.
Yes.
And also Gen whatever, like 18, 19-year-olds.
And why is it a bad thing if that our elders are out there protesting? They're the the children of World War II. Like,
Right.
they're here to, they went through Vietnam and all of that.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
why is that such a fucking pejorative when people are like, they're like, I saw some comments on like, the Journal Star posts about it or 1011 posts about it, like, not a young person in sight. I'm like, A, you weren't down there. Don't fucking
Right,
talk.
shut up,
That's
yeah.
not true. And B, what is the problem there? Anyway, it was beautiful. And so
It really was.
the rhetoric of like, we're all terrorists and blah blah blah. And then you go down and I
Then
think
you
that
actually go down there and realize it's just a bunch of people getting together
and I think
and
that like
smiling at each other like, hey, it's great.
exactly.
Isn't it great? We're all here. Like, this is amazing. And
And we got
that's what scares them.
and that's why I want to applaud. And we've talked about Portland in the last few weeks of like the inflatable frog costumes and
Amazing.
joy and clowns dancing and shit.
Yeah, yeah. And naked bike rides.
Naked bike rides. And that's the thing that I think was so amazing about this one is that while we could have been instigated or we are pissed,
Yes,
we could
absolutely.
be pissed enough to do XYZ. We realize
That's
that
counterproductive, really.
the better showing is, at least in this context, to be peaceful.
Yeah.
And New York City
and whimsical.
and whimsical and joyous. And New York City, hundreds of thousands of people out there, and NYPD just thanked all the protesters for being peaceful and said there were no arrests. New York fucking City.
Awesome. Right. Yeah.
No arrests.
Well,
There was an arrest in like North or South Carolina of a Trumper who drove by brandishing their firearm.
of course.
And that woman got arrested.
Right.
But like,
well, I mean, New York, did you see, and I don't know how much you follow the Northeast Corridor infrastructure for train transportation, but Trump just canceled the Gateway project, which is admittedly a really expensive project, but it is, there are only 2 train tunnels from New Jersey into New York City.
oh boy.
And they're 115 years old and were really damaged during Hurricane Sandy. And 450 trains a day go through those tunnels.
And so there's no need to keep those safe or anything?
Well, fuck New York City.
God. Oh, right. It's vindictive.
Yeah, because this project was going to build 2 brand new tunnels with the, actual modern technology and the lessons learned from Hurricane Sandy and all of that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when those 2 are up and functional, they would then completely rehab the old tunnels, actually fix them,
Right.
because they can't do that. They can't, it's just too much shutdown. So
Right.
they have to go in with Band-Aids and Band-Aids and Band-Aids. And then when those tunnels are rehabbed, they now have 4 tunnels and can let more trains through or take one down if they need to for maintenance.
Yeah.
So, but and that project has been in the works for decades, and we're finally in the shovels and dirt phase. That Hudson Yards project was all part of this. Like, it's this massive project that thousands of people have been working on for years and years and years and years, and he just pulled the plug on it.
Dude,
so that he can funnel money to his cronies.
I mean, he could actually. I mean, this is the thing I said in 2016 is that we're about to see how much power the office of the president actually has, and he's used it to be a complete fucking buffoon.
Yeah,
because
and
like
asshole. I mean, to be crude.
The amazing thing is that, and I will say this: Operation Lightning Speed or Warp Vaccine Times or whatever that was amazing.
Right, but that wasn't him.
I know, but he could have fucking taken credit for it.
Yeah. And been like an actual American hero.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then his second term, he's like, vaccines cause third legs, or you know what I mean? Like, he just like, dude,
he could be
take a fucking victory lap.
He could actually be like actually revered and an actual honest American hero just by trying to be a good guy.
but he can't help. I
He
mean, it's
can't.
just,
No.
uh, and so we're left to sit here pulling our hair out watching him after the largest peaceful protest politically in this country ever.
Ever. Yeah.
And he shares some shitty AI slop about. Did you see this?
I won't watch. I don't listen to
It's
him.
horrible, and I don't even really
Yeah.
want to talk about it. But
Right.
it is disgusting that
Hmm.
that's like he's trying to get to the very dark, shitty part of his base,
Hmm.
get them the meme lord,
Hmm.
basement dwell. I mean, I'm in my basement, but basement dweller Republican crap.
But you're not surrounded by fertilizer and diesel fuel and ARs
No,
and
not yet. But no,
oh
no.
God.
But it's like I really think that in 10 months, I think that right now, I think that there is, I have to believe there's a concerted effort to try to do something about this.
I'm 50-50 on that
I know.
because right now, I mean, corporations love fascism.
It's good for business, isn't it?
It's good for business. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. I learned that from the last couple seasons of Peaky Blinders.
But what is interesting is the governor of Chicago yesterday actually talked about a general strike.
Oh, wow. That's
He
intense.
basically said, like, hey, we've got all of this energy, what would happen if we all stopped going to work? I mean,
Like everybody at one time.
yeah, everybody that participated yesterday,
Hmm.
we all said, hey, we're not going to do this for 2 weeks. We're not going to do anything.
Right.
Or strategically, we're not going to spend a dime. We're going to
Right. Yeah.
stock
Yeah.
up. We're not going to spend a dime. We're not going to do anything.
Well, if you stock up, then you're spending dimes in advance.
I know, but you could also,
Just
you
eat the
could,
food that's in your pantry that's been there for 3 months.
yeah, you could make a tick on the
Yeah. Yeah.
seismic scale for at least some corporations to notice.
Yeah.
Oh, anyway, it was amazing. Yesterday was
It
amazing.
was, it just made, it filled me up, you know?
Yeah, good.
Yeah. It was really fantastic. Like, oh, it's that thing of, oh, I'm not alone, you
Yeah,
know? There's
yeah.
lots of people that more, you know?
There was a lot of
There
people.
was a lot of people. Hmm.
I wonder what the numbers were
I
yesterday
don't
in
know. It's
Lincoln.
really hard for me to estimate that. I mean, the Journal Star and 1011 will say there's about 500 people. Yeah.
There were 70 to 80 people.
Yep. And they were all ugly.
So we can't show any photos. But here's some
Yeah.
AI versions of what would have
Yeah.
been
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But
I'm,
our mutual friend Laird organized a protest in David City and sent me some photos. And it was
oh,
like,
yeah.
50 to 60 people on the streets of
In
David
David
City.
City?
David City, Nebraska out there with their signs.
That's
That
amazing.
that gives me a lot of fucking hope too.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that neck of the woods, I think, probably leans pretty red.
Yeah, and they probably are like, what are these yahoos doing on my street corner?
And they're probably, but I would imagine also that there's some soybean farmers up there.
Yep.
Hmm.
Yep.
Hmm.
For
And
sure.
I'm sure this is important to them, but I am more than willing to let bygones be bygones.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
I'm so glad you're back. Kind of
Yes.
like in, the secret meetings, like, yeah, you really screwed the pooch and
Yeah,
really hurt a lot of people, but you're back on the beam and let's go.
you were rolling drunk on fascism there for a little bit, but
Yep.
you have here's a seat, here's a
Right.
cup of coffee, here's a
Right.
book.
Now maybe just shut up and listen for a little while.
Yeah. 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 But like a populist fascist movement, I would assume, except for the people that are actually pulling the knobs and turning up the dials and actually doing illegal shit,
Right.
the followers who haven't done illegal shit, just who are just been sort of brainwashed for a little while, need to have an okay place to land.
100%.
There's no way that doesn't. I mean, yeah, I think there's a version of Nuremberg that might need to happen with a few people that
Hmm.
participated in this in a real way. But if you just voted because you were fed up with stuff, I'm fed up too.
Right.
You should have a place at the table.
I mean, there's a version of me that it has, reared its ugly head a few times where it's like they need to fall on their swords.
Yeah,
That's the
I know.
only way out.
I know.
Acts of contrition, because look at all the harm you've done.
Yeah, but it's that same thing of blaming people who don't recycle aluminum cans on climate change. Like let's look at the fucking culprits here.
Yeah.
Factories.
Right. Yeah.
Corporations.
Exactly. That's why I don't recycle anymore.
A billionaire, right? Well, billionaires. I mean, that's politically. That's what we need to look at. We need to look at people like Stephen Miller. We need to look at people like the Heritage Foundation. We need to look at people like Elon Musk and fucking Peter Thiel and say, can we talk about how you did what you did? Those are the people.
We just opened a whole other door that you don't have time for.
I know. But I'm just saying, we can't. I don't want to get too excited. It's low hanging fruit to feel like I can punish somebody who voted for Trump, even though I totally have it. I
didn't necessarily want to punish, but I wanted them to like actually feel on some level what they've done to human beings. Right. Like, but I think after 1.0, I had a guy on a bike ride kind of trying to backpedal on voting for that guy.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I've known about him for 20 years. I'm not like, sorry, but no. Right? You need to, you can't just kind of weasel your way out of that, that the words that needed to be said in that moment were, I was so wrong.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the hard...
This is kind of like milk toast, like, well, we thought he was good at business.
But I think there's an opportunity though, if I, and this is a universal thing, if I can soften with this is what I am seeing, and then I also give space for them to express what they were seeing.
Yeah.
I'm going to eat these words tomorrow night when I watch Rachel Maddow, I'm sure, and think about the people in my life that are licking boots currently. But I think in my heart of hearts, human beings can say, yeah, I was really after this. Like, I wanted this to change. You're like, and I'd love to talk to Eric about this. Like, okay, you say you want to be a lightning rod in some ways. How are you going to be that? For electricity to happen, you have to have two opposing energies. Like, how are you?
Well, he's got that in spades.
Yeah. So how are you going to, I mean, like, how do we come to some agreement to understand each other and also put the actual blame on getting to this authoritarian fascistic experience and put blame where blame is due rather than on some farmer in David City.
Right. Yeah.
I
think that'd be a good band name, authoritarian fascistic experience.
Let's do it.
Okay.
I got to run, man.
Yeah, buddy. All right.
I got to run. I got a nice little Sunday ahead of me.
I love that. What are you doing? Never mind. You got to go.
Yeah. You're going to laugh, so
okay.
I'm not going to even say it.
Oh, is it a dog thing?
It's a dog thing. Yeah, I got a dog thing to do. And my sister's in town. I'm going to hang out with her and my mom and people later. So.
Well, good. That sounds like a delightful little Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, enjoy your socialization.
Thank you.
I'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.
just to pay his union dues. I don't know now, I just don't know if I'm going back again. I don't know now, I just don't know if I'm going back again. I don't know now, I just don't know if I'm going back again.
Don't forget, toot your hooter.